Excellent. So now we're also recording because I want to make this call available to anybody who wants to check out what the network is going to be like. So I want to see, is this, it's going out to Facebook. I'm trying to find it. Yeah, there it is. Yay, and then I'm able to see if there are comments that come in. So I did this on Tuesday for the office hours. Wanted to do a live sort of sample of what you could expect in the live calls in our weekly live office hours. And it's very disconcerting because there's about a 5-second lag on my phone, but it's cool. I'm turning the volume down. Great. So we are ready to go. We've got about a minute to go. So I'm going to just give you a quick rundown of what to expect in today's session. So I am a holistic nutrition practitioner. My name is Lucas Simmons, and I'm coming your way here from Treaty 7 territory on this beautiful first day of September, where I expect very soon that the mail delivery person is going to come to my door and my dog is going to do his one duty in life, protect the castle. So if he loses it, I want you to know he's safe, he's good, he's okay, he's indoors, and he is going to be barking like a madman, but it's all good. Okay, so it's 9 o'clock. Let's get started. Why not, right? So I have a couple of things I want to talk about. So this Good Food Network, before we get going into what you can expect for this month, I wanted to share a little bit about how this Good Food Network has come to be. And I've been trying on different pieces that I wanted to try out beforehand, probably in the last 2 years, actually, and contemplating how to build what it is I wanted to build. And I took all of August to really put in those building times, those hours, to build this thing so that it's fairly streamlined and it's easy from the user point of view. So when I first started seeing clients back in 2015, that's like 7 years ago now, when people would come in for their first appointment, we would do a full intake and we'd chat and you get started with some recommendations. But then I would go on the side and I would build a protocol for you, a sort of program, if you will. And there was going to be some emails in there. There was going to be some handouts, some, of course, recipes. But when you came for the second appointment 2 weeks later, we had a little duotang for you. I built it totally DIY. I am not a crafter either. So it was super DIY. But it was this green folder duotang. Hands up if anybody has ever gotten one of these from me. It was always green duotang, like Kelly green. And on it, I would write with my calligraphy pen, the care and upkeep of you. Because I always thought when I was growing up, I was like, where are the manuals on how to be a human? Can somebody tell me what the rules are? Can somebody tell me, the owner's manual? How do I take care of this body? And so this is what started all of this, was seeing clients and figuring out what their programs would be, what kind of recommendations we'd be able to implement in order to address whatever they had going on health-wise. So this green duotang is how it all started. And this is the next iteration of these green duotangs, the care and upkeep of you, except we call it the Good Food Network now. And I call it a network because it's a membership site type thing. It's a membership site for a couple of reasons. You get to stick around as long as you want. If you just need 1 month to gather a bunch of stuff and go off and work on it and come for a month twice a year, you can do that. Easy peasy. If you are somebody who's like, oh no, but I really actually need that accountability piece and I want to keep working on stuff. And unless I've got Lucas sitting there going, oh, I'm meeting, do you want to come meet? Then I'm not going to do it. Then this is for you as well. If you are the person who would like new content always and is interested in learning, then this is also for you. I want you to think of the Good Food Network as a buffet table. So you're going to have a lot of different options on offer. And what do you do when you go to a buffet? First of all, your eyes go, oh, I didn't eat the last meal because I wanted to really actually make sure that I could get all of my money's worth. If you're like me, I can't go to buffets. It's a bit of a problem for me. But in this case, you could totally come to this buffet. It's not like you can overeat. So you go to a buffet and you see everything in front of you and you just think like, oh man, all of these shiny things, what would I like? So you first choose on that first round through, and you choose the things that you're like, oh, I don't make this at home and I really love this food and I really enjoy this kind of item. You know, like if I go to Chinese, then I'll pick the dumplings. If I go to Chinese buffet, dumplings and the noodles, because like that is totally my Achilles heel. Is that what they call it? So you pick the things that look shiny and sexy and you put it on your plate. You go for the second round, and now you're picking the things that you missed on the first try because you were so dazzled by those first pieces. And on the third round, you start to bring in dessert, and maybe you go back for some of that stuff you really liked. So I want you to think of the Good Food Network as a buffet. You won't eat all of the pieces. You won't consume all of the content that is available in the buffet, but you can if you want to, if you have the mental capacity and time, and if you have the motivation for it. Sure, you can absolutely take each and every single piece of this Good Food Network if you wish. But you also have the opportunity to fill the plate with whatever you want. When our family goes to the buffet, each of us, and there's 9 of us in my extended family here in Calgary. So when we go for a buffet, which we have done quite often as a family, specifically to the new dynasty, but anyway, the Northwest, for those who are looking, when we go, everybody has a different plate and everybody is picking what they wish. And everybody is going back at least once. Yeah, you go the first time. Some don't go a second time, and some will go second, some will go a third time. And the kids go for that third shot of Jell-O at the end because they don't get Jell-O at home. Such deprivation, poor children. So that's the kind of thing. I want you to think of the Good Food Network as a buffet table. What are you going to put on your plate? And that's what I want to talk about. That's what these orientation calls are for at the beginning of every month. To talk about, oh good, we've got people watching, yay. To talk, ooh, there's my light. To talk about what you have on offer every month and what you can access. Because if you're new to this network and you're not in it yet, then let's talk about how to get those pieces, yeah? So first things first, I want to run through what you can expect for this month and what is special to this month, and some of the pieces you're going to want to address before the month is through if you're joining the network. Later on in this call, I'm also going to talk about how to know if this network is for you and how to know if maybe it's not for you. And I've tried to make it pretty clear that you'll be able to, at the end of those sentences, go, oh yeah, it's clear I need to be in this network. Or, oh, Luca, I had no idea. Okay, I can't be in that network. Okay, excellent. So that's the goal for today. So what I want to do first is I'm going to bump out to, oh yeah, I can't do this piece first. Yes. So I'm going to bump out to what you will find when you join the network. So first, the network is hosted on a platform called Practice Better. I do all of my work on Practice Better, both with my work in my solo life, but also my co-worker and I, my colleague Tracy Reed and I over at Histamine Haven. We also run all of our stuff on Practice Better. The price point is great. It's owned by Canadian women and run by Canadian women. And I just love their versatility. So one of the questions you will get, how do I know if this network is not for me? If you are not in a place right now where you're able to dedicate a good half hour to figuring out how to use the hub, then joining the network is not for you. So right off the bat, if you're like, too overwhelming, Luca, don't worry, you're off the hook. See you later, alligator. Thanks for coming by. Okay. So let's go through how this program looks. So when you get, there's a training video that comes when you join the network so that you can find your way. So it's not like you need to remember everything I'm saying right now. You will have access to a video, and I drop it in a few spots so that you can quickly find that link to the video to give you a tutorial on how to use the hub. So you don't have to figure it out on your own. I also want you to know that you can't break the hub. You can't make stuff disappear. If it's there, it's not going anywhere. You can mark completed, but it's still there. It's not going to disappear. The hub is called Practice Better. Programs is where you click, and Good Food Network is where you click. This is where everything in the network is offered. It's under programs. Easy, right? Here we are. I want you to think of these 4 things: overview, modules, sessions, and feed, as your tabs that you can open in regards to the Good Food Network. So let's go to modules. Overview has everything, and I find it a bit overwhelming. So these are all the different modules you've got. So what I want to talk about, first things first, is that this month I've got a schedule, and this is the schedule for September 2022. We've got it everything here. And if you want to print a copy so that you've got it for your records like I do, then awesome. Go ahead and do that. You just hit view and you can print from there once you download to your computer. Then there's a checklist for the month, which I've also printed. So you can see it here. This is just you can't actually check mark on here, sorry. But this checklist will give you your to-do list for the month. Now, I encourage you, once you print it up, to say, oh, I don't want to do all these pieces. So scratch out what you don't want to do and just circle the ones that you will want to tend to this month. You can download and print it if you want, or you can just take a glance at it here if you wish. So if there is a replay for any of these sessions, then there will be made available. They'll be made available in the network, and I'll show you how to find that stuff in a minute. Okay. So let's scroll up to this schedule. So let's view it so we can zoom in just a second. It'll make it a little bit easier for you to see. So here, oh, it's very finicky. There we go. So here's the month of September. So every first day of the month, and if it falls on a weekend, then it goes to the following Monday, we do an orientation call, this thing, 9 a.m. It's always going to be bumped out to the Facebook page to talk about what some of those special topics to the month are going to be and what you can expect for this month. Every Tuesday at noon, there is a 1-hour open office. It's weekly office hours open to everybody, and you can come join in. It's on Zoom. All of these sessions are on Zoom. These are the actual live sessions. There's more than live sessions to the network, by the way, but this is the first part I want to highlight. So everything that's on this calendar is those live sessions. So every Tuesday at noon, we meet for an hour. You can bring your questions. You can bring anything that's coming up as you're moving through the content of the network. Or you can bring, like, last week or earlier this week, I did a sample one, and I solicited some questions from participants that were in the network. And I said, is there anything you guys want to talk about? And somebody said, yeah, my gallbladder. I have gallstones, and my doctor thinks I need to have it taken out. So I addressed a little bit of that. It's been saved to my Facebook page, by the way, if you want to check that out, as a sample of what we'll be covering. It won't be as descriptive of what the network is usually. It'll really just be about, let's get to the questions. I don't bring anything prepared to these meetings. It's really just to answer all the questions you have and to make molehills out of what feels like mountains. So those are Tuesday. Every Thursday morning at 7, I do have to go change it. So it's at 7. I have to schedule this 7:30 in one spot, 7 a.m. We're going to leave it at 7 a.m. 7 a.m. We're going to be doing a food as medicine 15-minute video. I used to do the Tuesday live sessions. And this was where I had 15 minutes of content, and it was meant to be consumed over lunch kind of thing, where you could come and join for lunch. And I would riff on a topic for 15 minutes. For example, if I talked about digestion, then in that digestion piece, we would talk about, okay, how do you know you have digestive issues? Well, what are the first 3 things you need to do to improve digestion? Number 1, number 2, number 3. No notes, no slideshow presentations, just information. And I have it at 7 a.m. because I want it to be like, if you want to carve out a 15-minute window of time for yourself on Thursday mornings, you can come join them live. You join live, you get to ask questions. Now, these are recorded. The food as medicine pieces are. So you'll be able to watch the replay. I'm trying to figure out how to do the weekly office hours. I was playing with it this morning and it wasn't working to figure out how to be able to do those pieces. So anyway, how to access the replay of the weekly office hours will come soon in the next couple of days as I figured out. So yeah, Tuesday office hours, Thursday mornings, we have these food as medicine pieces. Now, there's also 2 other classes over the course of the month. The first one, there is a specific class that is available only to those in the network. I'm not going to be opening it up to anybody else. These classes, when I run them, they were $40, they're now $50 each. So for the price of this monthly network access, it's $100. You're getting a $50 class as part of what's going on. Plus you get office hours to ask all the questions. Plus you get food as medicine videos. Plus you get everything else that's in the network, which we'll go through in a minute. So Going Gluten-Free is the title of the class that we're going to be addressing in the month of September. So that's happening on Wednesday, the 14th. So always the second Wednesday of the month at 9 a.m. That is also it's recorded. So if you can't join live, then you'll be able to catch the replay. And the last Wednesday of the month, we have a histamine meetup. I'm also going to try to make that one available. Some of these, I was trying to simplify my life, but I realized that it's really tricky for people who are still working or who do not have the flexibility to take an hour away from work to dedicate to support for themselves. I get it. I totally get it. And I can't offer these sessions at night because then I'll never see my family. So the balance has to happen, Luca. This is how we're going to balance it out. So the last Wednesday of every month, we have a 1-hour online histamine meetup. It's a kvetching group, if you will. I like that word, kvetching. So this is where if you have histamine issues, if you struggle with mast cell activation, if you're just new to figuring out the histamine piece, we're going to meet the last Wednesday of every month. And it's a group session. So this is where you have that sort of community piece. 80% of the people I work with have histamine issues. Especially my clients, I see this as a really great add-on for you. So this histamine meetup can be part support group, part accountability group, and part Q&A. Where are you struggling in this month? I will lead the conversation. I won't have anything prepared for these sessions, but it'll be a histamine meetup. So you bring to the table, what's the biggest thing you're struggling with these days? That will always be the first question. And then it's so great because you start to see people say, oh, well, I had that. And you know how I did it? Like, I just got on to doing this and here's a solution to your problem. So it's not me. It's the people in the group who are going to be meeting and offering solutions. Of course, I will have solutions as well. I know this very well because I struggle with histamine things. And right now they are in a little bit of a flare because I've been quite stressed. That's good. Water off a duck's back, right? So this is what you can expect as the specialty classes that are running just this month. Now, I want to talk about more than that. In a bit, we're going to come back and talk about these food as medicine. Oh, you know what? Let's talk about it right now. Let's talk about the food as medicine components. What can you expect on those Thursday mornings this month for the month of September? Okay. Where's food as medicine? Oh, here it is. There's a whole module on it. Yeah. Each section of the network has a module. Let's view it. Food as medicine. So here we go. It's going to be 7 a.m. So September 2022, what are we covering? A week today, we're going to be talking about constipation. If you have constipation, you need to join this conversation. Digestion. How's it working for you? How do you know? How do you get started? Then the third week, we're going to talk about that gut-brain connection and why when you look after the gut, that's actually ground zero for when there's brain stuff going on, whether it's brain or nervous system things. You can also think of like pain and headaches. You can also think of cognitive things like Alzheimer's or brain fog or degenerative nervous system things like multiple sclerosis or ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. In the last week, we're also going to be talking about the microbiome. So these are 15-minute Thursday morning, 7 a.m. topics that are going to be happening in the network only. Now, if you can't watch them live at 7 a.m. on Thursdays because life is full, then down here, there's going to be video replays, which you can just link out to. And once they are up, then you'll be able to click. Right now, you can't because there's no replay because we haven't done it yet. So those are the live components for this month. I'm going to show you the live class this month, which is Going Gluten-Free. This is where some of this info is going to be. So the topic this month is Going Gluten-Free. It's going to be happening on Wednesday, the 14th at 9 a.m. You don't need to pre-register if you're in the network. If you're not in the network, you can't access the class, sorry. But this is the topic this month is going gluten-free. Once that class has been underway, then there will be a replay available. Let's go back. So those are the live class components. And what I did here in the modules, I realized there's a lot of writing. I tried to simplify as best I can. But I want you to see here how if there's nothing written at the end, it is written content. Pre-recorded means there's pre-recorded content in here. Live means it's a live component of the network. So the food is medicine we just talked about. That going gluten-free is another live piece. Awesome. So those are the schedules, the time commitment, the like, this is only happening this month and it's happening live. It's like, it's not Netflix. It's like live TV, right? Think of it that way. Now, we also have components that are kind of like Netflix, where watch on demand whenever you want. So what are those components? Well, we have pre-recorded Real Food Reset, Vitality class, and Scratch Cooking. So there's 3 components that are on demand. That just means you get to watch it whenever you want. Be forewarned. These disappear by the end of the month. And they build, especially the first and the third one. So the first one, let's take a look at Real Food Reset. So this is a program I ran back in 2019. And I've had about 30 people go through the program and built their kitchen to be a traditional foods, Weston price, real foods, ancestral knowledge kind of piece, and how to reduce what is maybe driving some of the inflammation in the body. That's what's at the root of all these chronic diseases. I help people with chronic health conditions, and we use food to reduce what's driving the symptoms. That's what I do. So get your real food game on. This is what we do once a month. You make your kitchen your #1 ally. Tells you a bit about what the Real Food Reset is. Handy that there's 12 modules. There's going to be one a month. So if you stay in the network for a year, you will gain access to this entire program, which in and of itself, by the way, is $500. Just so you know, the program by itself. I know there's good value in this network. So a bit of things to know. There's 3 sections to the program, and it tells you what's running September to December, January to April, May to August. So it'll tell you a little bit more of what to expect in each month. This month, we're starting at the beginning with what is real food. So what is real food? Here's the video. It's 29 minutes long. You watch it when you want to. You come back to it as often as you want over the course of the month, and you fill your plate because you're at the buffet table when you need to go back for another serving. Yes, there's always handouts and recipes in each of these. So then you download these. We've got a low histamine version, for example, of golden milky tea. We've got a simple one if histamine is not an issue. And then the handouts and resources when you're starting to go towards real food. JERF means just eat real food, PS. So here's just a sampling of one of the handouts that you'll be getting. I realize it's better to do it that way. So return to traditional foods and food prep is at the core of the program. Resources, lots of books and online people and things that you can seek and find. And there you go. There's also a worksheet and easy swaps that come. So the easy swaps, for example, it's a to-do list. I always have very practical to-do lists. And again, it's in buffet form. So you take what you want and you do what you can. And you come back to it when you've got time, or you don't want to and you toss it. I don't care. It's up to you. So throw out your iodized table salt, replace it with sea salt. Why? Well, it's a better complement of minerals. Here's a write-up on it, and so on and so forth. And this gets you started on the concept of eating real food. Okay. If you have any questions as we're going by the way, please pop them in the comments below or on the chat if you are here on the Zoom call. All right, that is the first of those on-demand classes, or like Netflix, watch when you want. The next one is a vitality class. Every month there's going to be a 2-hour class that you can access whenever you want. It's usually based on what the main topic for the month is. And this month, I've talked about it quite a bit, is about the gut. So that just dictates what's going to be available in the network for the month. So our vitality class this month is on the gut. Oh, handy that. This alone is $50 on my website if you buy it by itself. Pay the network fee, and if you only watch the Going Gluten-Free class and the Vitality Gut class, you've broken even. Now you have all the other pieces as bonus. See, I'm on Team You. So the goals of what the class will be, and then you've got the actual modules down here. So it's usually about an hour and a half to 2 hours. And then there's a bunch of handouts and recipes. So we've got kombu broth and miso soup. If there are extras, then they're all included there. So lots of stuff. If you've ever taken any of my vitality classes, these are it. And there's going to be a different one each month. These are ones that I used to run at the Light Cellar and have tweaked over years and started recording them and having them available for purchase. So that's the next Netflix or on demand. There's a third one. It's a scratch cooking class. It is an actual cooking class. It is a cooking class where you learn how to cook from scratch. And there's 10 of them in my series that I've built. So we've got enough for almost a year. We'll see, and maybe reduce the price in the summer. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see how popular these are. But this is a class that I co-teach with my kiddo, and they're all recorded. So it tells you a bit of the story of that scratch cooking class. It actually came about at the beginning of the pandemic in the hopes of bringing kids who are struggling with mental health together, and offered this up to junior high kids at the school where my husband was teaching and our daughter was attending. So built this, recorded it, and now have a full program on it. And it is now part of the Good Food Network. You get one module a month. So this first month in September, we're doing eggs. So in this eggs, and there's one for each of the months coming for the next 10. So for this month, we're talking about eggs. Why are they so good? How to choose eggs. And then shopping list and recipes are below. So you get all your groceries and you get set up. And when you're ready, you just hit play. It's an hour and a half. They're usually an hour and a half. So it was a live Zoom session where we had about 70 kids that were in this class. And it was hilarious. And we had a really great time. I still get photos from parents of their kids cooking eggs for them, which is just so lovely. Are we not supposed to teach our children how to cook? Now, is this just for kids? No. It was originally the junior high cooking elective, but cooking from scratch is a skill that I think we all need. And dare I say, it is not a skill that we have all developed. How do you cook eggs? Do you know that when you go to apply for a job at a restaurant, if it's a really top-notch restaurant, I mean, not the chains that are everywhere, but if you're applying to a well-known restaurant, one of the things they have you do is you have to make an omelet. And they can tell your cooking skills by how well you can cook an omelet. Cooking an omelet is not just cooking an omelet. There is an art to it. So we talk about that in this session, actually. So it's me and my kiddo in the kitchen. And this is us a couple of years ago. Aren't we cute? So you get to join us in the kitchen. So you've got your printouts, you have a grocery list, and then you have your recipes. So here's just a sample of what you can see on that grocery list. So we've also done the scratch cooking classes to be amenable to all dietary things. So it doesn't matter if you have histamine issues or you're paleo, even if you can't eat eggs, what have you. This walks you through how to prep for the class. So you're going to get to pick between sunny side up or over easy. In the kitchen, we demo boiled eggs or poached eggs. And then you get to pick between scrambled eggs or omelet. So here it tells you how much to get, what's an alternative ingredient if you're vegan or non-egg eaters, see notes on alternatives, and you'll see lots of different ideas here. So we do vegan, vegetarian, paleo, nut-free, dairy-free, and gluten-free, and histamine as well. As we went through, we had a histamine person in our group. So notes, lots of stuff, and then your recipes. So that's the scratch cooking this month. We're going to be doing eggs. So you have until the end of the month to access these 3 on-demand courses. So think of it like your Netflix account or your Disney Plus channel or Prime or whatever you use as a streaming service in your home. When you want to watch it, you sit down, you turn it on, and you start the show. It's the same thing with these. Start the show when you want. Okay. So we've gone through the live content, like the live television content. We've gone through the streaming channel content. Now I want to highlight some of those written pieces where it's just written content, printables, recipes, and those kinds of things. So first things first, always, I have my first module that says start here. And here is where you find your orientation video, how to use the hub, and the breakdown. There is an indexed version by clicking here, so you can jump around to different parts in the video. But orientation calls always are going to be in here. So if you're just joining the network, this will tell you when the next one is. So right after we wrap this one up today, I'm going to be changing this to October 3rd for our next call. Once the orientation call has happened for that month, then there's a replay so you can watch it, and that'll give you the rundown of what are those highlight pieces for the month. Now down here, there's also the different parts. So those live sessions, think of it like watching live TV. If you come at 8:13 and the show started at 8, you missed the first 13 minutes. That's the kind of thing. It'll tell you if there's a replay available. This may change. Right now, weekly office hours are not, but I am changing that. It's not yet available, but I'm working on it and what have you. All these pieces. So what is it? Who should take this? Is there a replay available? Where do I find it? So you got your live sessions. That's like TV. You have the pre-recorded, which is like the streaming service. New content every month. Those are the 3 pieces I just talked about. And then the written content. This is updated every month. So we've got a schedule, the main topic for the month, the recipes for the month, and then the seasonal piece. So let's go look at those right now. Back to our program. So here we are in the modules section. So our schedule and checklist, I've already taken you through this. You've got the special stuff, one-off for this month, and then your checklist. So here's your checklist. Print it up if you want. Then you get to check mark. Check out this month's schedule and print it if you want. The main topic is gut. So in that gut module where we talk about the main topic, oh, look, there's another class. Gut as ground zero. That one is always free, by the way. Watch the Real Food Reset video. Then there's the topic. What is real food? Have you printed handouts and recipes? Watch that vitality class. Watch scratch cooking class. We're doing eggs. Live food is medicine classes on Thursday. We're doing a live class on September 14th going gluten-free. Have you printed up the recipes for the month? Have you printed up the seasonal stuff? Then we got weekly office hours on Tuesday and our histamine meetup on Wednesday 28th. Possibly replays available. That may change. All right. Now, main topic of the month. So this is written content because it doesn't say pre-recorded or live. So let's go look at that. Main topic of the month is gut health this month. What can we say about gut health? Oh, well, it's ground zero. Yeah. Who needs to work on gut health? If you say yes to at least one of these, ding, 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 you need to work on gut health. Oh, and lucky you, that's the topic of the month here on the GoodFood Network. So essentially, if you have a body and you want to keep it well, looking after the gut is your first point of entry when it comes to nutrition. So where do you start? Well, lots of conversations this month, live classes, schedule, what's happening when. Then you can click to register for a masterclass on the subject, the gut as ground zero. If you've never taken this class, then that is the perfect spot to start. And that's what this module is going to have. Always the main topic and always an actionable step on what you can do next. I'm not just the person who says, here's the information. I'm the person who says, here's the information. Oh, now you want to know what to do? Good. I mean, it's nice to have the information, but you need to know what to do. Each of my classes, including the network, has these components in it. Here's the info, but here's what you need to do. Other written content. So we just went through main topic, pre-recorded, 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 live, live. Oh, recipes of the month. Okay, that is one that has written content. So recipes of the month for September 2022. These are the recipes. So I always include a side, a main protein, animal-based, typically one pot kind of thing. a traditional foods kind of piece to the puzzle, and then a sweet or fruit or something delicious and celebratory at the end. And so you get to download and print your recipes here below. So these are your recipes for the month. And there's a reason they're all included. Crispy sweet potato fries, we talk about maybe replacing foods in some of the content if they are reactive for you. For example, potatoes. When I first started working in nutrition, I quickly figured out that potatoes were giving me grief, as was rice. Enter sweet potatoes. How do you make them crispy? Well, they're sort of crispy. Homemade fries. Have you looked at the list of ingredients on those packages of sweet potato fries at the store? There's a reason they're really crispy, because it's almost impossible unless you use chemicals to get that crispy texture. We get pretty darn close with the homemade version. Easy crispy chicken. When you don't have time to make the chicken fingers. When you don't have time to do the breading. Oh, sure, I have a breaded chicken recipe, like a chicken fingers recipe for sure. What if we just make it crispy because of the way you cook it? This is like a super kid pleaser, by the way. My daughter would eat this like 3 times a week if I made it. She's my litmus test for recipes. Then we've got a one pot thing. So hamburger soup this month, because we're getting into the harvest season, right? We are knee deep into it right now. This is when there's so much available in terms of vegetables and fresh stuff. Why don't you make a big pot? Oh, that's interesting, Luca. Hamburger soup has meat stock as the base. I name check meat stock everywhere in every class this month. I know. Then we also have dilly carrots. This is a ferment. So we talk about how to introduce ferments when we get to the microbiome class as that food as medicine piece that's coming up in a couple of weeks' time. If you can't tolerate ferments, then don't worry about it. We'll talk about maybe other alternatives if ferments are off the table for you. We'll also talk about why ferments might need to be off the table for you and how to know if they need to come off the table for you. I am one of those people. Sometimes I can tolerate, sometimes I can't. And I can tell very quickly if they're going to sit okay or not. And the last one is applesauce. So this is actually for those people who can't have dilly carrots. Applesauce is a really nice builder of things at the gut level so that you can eventually bring in dilly carrots. Guys, it's not just haphazardly slapped together. There's a method to the madness. So these are your recipes for the month. 5 so that you don't get overwhelmed. This time I'm trying to keep track of which recipes I'm releasing when so that you don't double over, because I tend to do that. I have many, but I do have favorites, as you can see. So we looked at recipes of the month. Now, every season, every 3 months, we're going to shift seasons. So this module stays around for 3 months in the network. So let's take a peek and view. So yeah, what season are we in? Oh, we're in fall. There is a blurb that will be preempting this instead of written content. So it takes you through a little bit of the story and why eating with the seasons is one of the things that I think is maybe a way to think about putting meals on the table. So eating with the seasons, how to make the most of this module, find it all there. Handouts and recipes. So you've got handouts and recipes here. There's a little fall recipe bundle where even more content here. So this is available until the end of day, November 30th. So make sure you print everything before it disappears. We'll start winter in December. We go to December, January, February. So March 1st, we go into spring, April, May. So then June 1st, we go into the summer. And there's some good recipes and topics to think about. Oh, I should show you that actually. So as we get to, let's see. So just to give you an idea. So eating with the seasons, this is the fall component. Foods to focus on for the fall. And if you watch that video that's in the module, it'll tell you how I came to put this list together and why these certain foods are there. You have a list of superfoods for those people who are like, I need level 400. I already eat the real food. I've been doing it for 10 years. Now I want to know like the next level. I want to get deep knowledge. So then these are some of those extra next level foods that can really pack a punch. We also have teas, roots, and shoots. Then we have herbs and spices. And in that introductory video, I talk about how to maybe pick from this and not think that you need to have them all the time, but how to maybe build your tea cupboard, for example, how to start reaching for some of these spices. Like some of this stuff, if you look, there's quite a few flavors in there that are Indian curry type spices. Well, guess what? Fall is a perfect time to be making curries. The spices in there are specifically supportive to the main organs of the season. They also are in tandem with the main energy of the season. Oh. 5 things to think about for the fall season. This gives you maybe some inspiration as to how to think about moving through the kitchen. If you feel lost in how to approach meal prep time or how to make dinner, or you're new to making dinner and you're like, I don't even know where to start, Luca. This is where you start. The energy here is in letting go. This means making room for new experiences in which we can learn and grow. Because lungs, main organ of the season, take in the new, the large intestine lets go of the old. Oh, yeah. Doesn't that make living a little bit easier? Navigating this world is tricky. So that's the content that you have for this month. Those are the special pieces. So again, the live classes and the live content, here is just a look at the sessions. There are lots of sessions here. Tells you the date and the time. So this has already happened. September 1st. You know what? There's a bit of an easier spot to see this. Just a second. I'm going to go to my homepage. You're seeing this from the point of view of somebody who's in the hub, not me as the practitioner, but from your part. You'll see the exact same thing when you get into yours. So upcoming sessions, you've got all the Zoom calls. So you join the ones you want. And once the Zoom call has ended, this is going to disappear from here. Coming late to the session, still there. Look at that. 9 a.m. Thursday, September 4th. Depending on where you are in the world, this is going to adjust to your specific time. So you don't have to figure that piece out, which is nice. Weekly office hours, Tuesday, September 6th. Food is medicine, quick weekly video. That's changing to 7 a.m. by the way. Weekly office hours, live monthly class on the GoodFood Network. So they'll be fairly easy to pinpoint, easy to figure out which one you're going at. If you're about to join a live session, it's always going to be the first one. If it's not the first one, it's probably not happening right now. I can only schedule one session at a time. It's always going to be the first one if that's what you want to join. And when you join, you just click on the little camera icon and there you are. Now today's is a little bit different because we're bumping it out to the Facebook page. So every first day of the month, and if the first of the month falls on a weekend, then it'll move to the Monday morning. Always 9 a.m. on the first day of the month, I will be doing these orientation calls and bumping them out to the Facebook page so that you can have a sense of what to expect and what's happening in the network. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about how to know if this network is good for you or not. If you have any questions as we go on, by the way, even if you're watching this after the fact, pop them in the comments below and I will get back to you. So this GoodFood Network is set up as a subscription service. So you get to stay in as long as you want and you can leave whenever you want. The leaving is sending me a message, say I want to cancel my membership. There are no hard feelings. If it were up to me, I would come in once and then leave for 5 months and come back 6 months later for the next piece when I was ready. And that's totally fine. It's also fine if you just want to stay in it and it's keeping you on track and you are putting in good things and you're starting to feel a little bit better. Some of those symptoms that you're working through are starting to whittle away. The idea that heart disease runs in your family, you want to really make sure that heart disease doesn't continue in your family. Oh. Then you stick around all month, every month, because I promise you everything we do is about reducing chronic disease. And while we're talking about the gut, some people will be like, I don't have gut issues. I don't have gut issues. I'm doing fine. Oh yeah? How's your thyroid? Do you have hypothyroid? Sean, you need some gut love. Lots of other things. Do you have adrenal fatigue, they call it? Or HPA axis dysregulation is actually a proper term. Hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis dysregulation. Your gut's having a hard time. Do you have a chronic disease? Your gut's having a hard time. Like there's so many, like everybody needs gut health. Okay, let's talk about how to know if this network is for you. So I have a long list. In the Facebook page, in the description of the video, I've also dropped a link out to where you'll find all of the information I'm talking about, by the way. So how to know if this network is for you. If you say yes to any of these, are you ready? Some of them may seem a little bit general. That's on purpose. Are you ready to get better and feel better? Do you actually want to ensure that you've got good health, robust health? Do you crave a simpler approach to feeding yourself and your loved ones? Do you need direction in these wild times and how to feed yourself? Are you tired of having to figure it all out on your own? Are you curious to know how deep nutrition is related to overall health? Are you maybe a current client of mine? Are you maybe a former client of mine? You need the support. You're missing those accountability calls we used to do. And you need that support to keep things fresh, interesting, keep you on track, and make sure that, oh gosh, I'm going to go talk to Luke. I better make sure that I did that thing I said I would do. Yeah. It takes a village. You're not supposed to do this by yourself. So I also thought if you are currently in nutrition, the network is also a really good place for you, because you're going to learn the interconnections. And that's one thing that when I was in school for holistic nutrition at CSNN here in Calgary, I found it wasn't until I was really working on those case studies at the end that I started to see the interconnections. If you're not quite getting those interconnections of things, the network will help you put those all together. That is everything that I do, is that interconnection. And those interconnections feel like that's when you turn the light on in the room and you make it all make sense. And then you're like, oh, this is how I take care of myself. Oh, okay. Do you wish you could be a one-on-one client of mine, but it's outside of your price range right now? The network is the place for you. Are you struggling with chronic health stuff? Do you have an autoimmune disorder? Do you have a chronic health diagnosis? Things like cancer, COPD. What are some of the other big ones? Mood, anxiety, depression, type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes, actually, Alzheimer's, dementia. Thyroid is, I think, one of the top 10. Hypertension, high blood pressure. These are cardiovascular disease. These are some of the top chronic health diagnoses in Canada, but there's way more than that. Glaucoma, maybe not so well known. Yeah, totally. I can help you with that. Chronic fatigue syndrome. Oh, honey, I can totally help you with that. That is certainly a histamine and mast cell, which brings me to my next point. Are you currently working through histamine stuff or mast cell activation, whether or not you are a client of mine? Oh, friend, this network is for you because we have a special component for you. When I post things about a high burden of stress, I had a sweetheart friend of mine the other day. She said, oh my gosh, every time you post those, Luca, I'm like, how did you know? How do you know that that's me? Every time you post about burden of stress, I'm like, oh, that's me. So if that's you on all my burden of stress posts, this network's for you. Are you looking for a space where you can create safety for yourself or safety for your body? There's so many pieces I mean here. You get to become the pacemaker. It's a buffet. Part of creating safety is taking on what you're able to, realizing how much energy and abilities you have today, and being A-okay with that amount. And if that amount means the weekly office hours and that's it, how are you not winning? If you are currently between jobs and you have 5 hours a week to dedicate to the network, I think you'll run out of content before you get to that. So sorry, maybe I'll build more for you. But it's okay. Then let me say you need to get outside and go see what's happening in the nature. I'll always find things for you to do. I am a mother. That's what we do. But yeah, if you're looking for a space to create safety, another reason why I say that is when there is, what does this mean? It feels so vague. It's so not vague to me, but I realize it can be received as such. Creating safety in the body. When the body does not feel safe, he, she, they will mount a histamine response, an inflammatory response. Your liver will have more work to do. Your immune system starts to have more to do. And your adrenals work harder. Now you start to feel stress more keenly. So what happens is, when you're at the beginning of this whole gamut of how much stress your body's under, you need this much stimulus for the body to go, oh, something's wrong. And the more you trip that stress response, the smaller the amount of stimulus becomes that now triggers your body to not feel safe. Somebody who has histamine issues needs this much stimulus for their body to not feel safe. It's why, in my case, for example, my husband does not have histamine issues. I do. I react to perfumes. They send me choking, coughing, wheezing, headaches, migraines. I can't say anything because everybody around me doesn't react to it because they need this much stimulus. And God dang, I hope no one's wearing that much perfume. See what I mean? My body doesn't feel safe. And when your body doesn't feel safe, he, she, they will mount that response to protect you. And that response is the stress response. Do you need to create safety in your body? Is your body not feeling safe these days? How do you know if your body is not feeling safe? I have 40 posts on my social media channels right now that explores it. But one of the biggest pieces is if you can't sleep well, if you don't have an appetite when you first get up in the morning, if you are quick to anger or quick to worry or quick to go sort of thing, you need to create safety in your body. And that is the crux of what we do in the network. Are you committed to getting better? Are you like, okay, enough's enough. I want to work on this. Okay, you should come. Are you ready to take hold of the reins of your own health? Well, that's the same thing. And another section of people that I thought might actually want to join the network too is if you're new to the idea of cooking or the idea of bringing real food, traditional foods. That can count organic, sure. I can't afford organic anymore with the prices that are skyrocketing right now. So this is not elite. This is not for only the people who can access the very best. This is how to access food, period. Let's take away and dismantle access to this. I realize that I'm charging for the network, but this is my work. I hope that the price point is okay. If the price point is not, I need you to tell me. I need you to get in touch with me and let's build some scholarships for people. That's what I will say to that. Also, another way that I thought of this is if you're new to cooking or if you're like, oh my gosh, I just realized that there's these weird ingredients on packaged foods. I started reading labels and what the heck is that? I don't even know what EDTA is. Disodium EDTA. I don't have that in my pantry. I can't buy that in the baking aisle. What is that? And is that okay? I don't even know. Is it Frankenfoods? Yes. Can you pronounce it? It's a Frankenfood. Oh my gosh, what does that do to my body? Well, join us in the food as medicine sessions because I'm going to talk all about it all month long about some of those additives. Do you know how much wreaking havoc these gums and acacia bean and locust bean and carrageenan and these things? Nope. If you are somebody who's like, okay, I'm ready to come to the buffet and I want a variety of things. I want to do it at my own pace, though. I don't want somebody harping at me. Then this is a buffet. You get to choose what you want. Also, if you want exclusive content. So I have fun in my classes. We always have fun. There's always too many recipes. There's always probably too much handouts. Too bad for you. You get to be the gatekeeper and decide what you want to keep and what you don't want to keep. Okay, that talks about how do you know if you're ready for the network? Let's talk about how to know if this network is not for you. Okay. Do not join the Good Food Network if you do not have half an hour to dedicate to figuring out how to use the hub. Oh, I leave you hints. I leave you breadcrumbs. There's a video training that you can watch. I drop the video training in 3 different spots. So if you can't find it in one, you're sure to find it in one of the others. So don't worry about it. You will find that video. It will come to you however you access it and find it is the way that's going to work for you. Good work. But you need to really set aside 30 minutes to learn how to use the hub. And I can't walk you through that because I'd have to charge you $200 to sit with me for an hour. That is my fee right now, $200 an hour. So I mean, we could if you wanted to, but I want to keep this affordable for you and I want to keep it accessible to you. So this is how we do it. I have that pre-recorded 30-minute video that goes in detail, taking you through the user end so you know what to expect and how to move around. And I promise you, there's only there's 3 spots where you need to look. There's tasks, programs, and how to chat. That's it. Those are the only spots you need, and how to log into the Zoom calls. That's it. The 4th thing, I guess, which I've already shown you. So if you can't commit to 30 minutes, or if you're like, I don't like learning new systems, this network is not for you. I can't help you in that case. That requires a one-on-one support, and then you contact me for one-on-one support. And if you need that link, always just let me know, send me a message, wherever you're catching this, and I will get back to you. If you are currently doing intermittent fasting, I cannot help you. The way that I move through my work does not take into consideration intermittent fasting. And in fact, I do have lots of questions about whether intermittent fasting works. The science says it works in some cases. I do not have the ability to measure your biochemistry to make sure that you fit in the section of people who would do well with intermittent fasting. So you need to go to somebody who specializes in it, because if you're not doing it right, then you drain your adrenals even more over the long course. And I'm not going to participate in that, because I want you to feel better. So if you need intermittent fasting, this is not the program for you. I will tell you to go to somebody else, and I'll connect you. I have a very good colleague who knows intermittent fasting very well. I'll connect you with her. If you're currently looking to lose weight fast, I am not the practitioner for you. Losing weight is not a quick fix. If you want to lose weight quickly, you lose the weight quickly and it never stays off, ever. If you want to lose weight slowly and maybe lose weight, maybe it will, maybe it won't. I don't know if it will or not. There's so many other variants that come into play. How much are you sticking to it? How much are we able to identify what foods are contributing to your body not feeling safe? Have we created safety in the right order of things? I can't measure, I can't send you for testing. So it's a trial and error piece. But chances are when you start to reduce inflammation, when you reduce stress that's going on in the body, you actually start to see some of the weight drop off. Gaining weight is actually an indication of inflammation. I can't guarantee that you'll lose pounds. In my case, I really did a number on my metabolism when I was anorexic for 3 years in my teen years. Oops. I love me though, so it's okay. I'm going to be soft. My daughter last night put her hand on my neck and she's like, oh, Mama, you're so soft. And she just looked in heaven. And I was like, I'll be soft for you. So nice. And kids are the best. She's 17. How did I win? Anyway, also, you should not join the network if you are vegan or vegetarian. I know I name checked that when I talked about the eggs module. But if you are vegan or vegetarian, we do talk a lot about meat. And I talk a lot about traditional foods, and there are no traditional cultures around the world that have a history of vegetarianism. Of veganism, there are some histories of vegetarian, but even in vegetarian cultures, they would have consumed animal fat. So this is the part where I think, okay, if you're looking, I am really steeped in traditional foods. If you are vegetarian or vegan and you're hoping to get support pieces, I am not the person for you, is how I'm going to say it in a kind and loving way, because this is really, I want to make sure as many people are able to come join the network as they wish. With vegetarian and vegan, there are a couple of different issues. It's tricky to get complete protein. It's tricky to get adequate amounts of protein out of the protein you are eating, because the bioavailability of plant-based protein is not as high as animal protein. There are animal nutrients you need that we need to take plant to convert into animal form, which in a body that is stressed and not getting enough protein will not make those conversions. So now you're nutrient deficient over time. That's kind of some of the spirit of how I approach my work. And it is in the spirit of truth and honesty and the biochemistry and wisdom of the body. I want to make sure that you're feeling okay and looked after. If you're vegetarian and vegan, I do wonder if you actually will not be in congruence with a lot of the stuff I'll be talking about. So you may want to consider, if you're vegetarian and vegan, you're like, no, I still want to come, Luca. Oh, I'll talk about how to make that stuff easier to digest. Yeah. I'm not against eating lentils. I'm not against eating beans and nuts and seeds and legumes and grains and all those things. No, let's have as much variety and diversity as we can for you. Okay. If you are expecting a one-on-one type service, this is not the program for you. I do see clients one-on-one where we can tailor a program to you. That case, then reach out to me if you're looking for one-on-one scenario. If you feel like your life is full to the brim at this time, the network is not for you. If your life is too full, if you're moving, if you have a baby coming, if you are switching jobs, if you are currently working through divorce, if you've just lost a parent, if you have, I don't know, I'm making this list of like high stressors. Yeah. If your life is full to the brim, don't join the network, baby. Let me get you off the hook. Because you need to, I say, if you can dedicate 30 minutes to 60 minutes a week in the network, you will get your money's worth. Now it's 30 to 60 minutes in the network, but you need to also have the mental capacity and the time to be able to implement some of that work in your day-to-day life. Because it's fine to commit 30 to 60 minutes a week or 2 hours if you want. You could totally go up to 2 hours. You could totally do 3 hours actually. But at minimum, 30 minutes a week of watching content and engaging with the content is a part of it. But you also need to make sure you've got time and energy and the capacity to implement what's going to be suggested for the piece you're watching. If you don't have time for that, then say, I'll come back to the Good Food Network later. That's how to know. It's 10 a.m. We're done. Guys, right on time. So if you want to know more details about the network, if you want to go over a rundown, I have a written version and I have a video version. Both are able to be found on the website I've linked out on the Facebook page and here in the network. If you're watching it here, then I will make sure that the links are out in the module as well. So it's a subscription service. The last piece I wanted you to know is that I have a 7-day trial period. If you sign up and within 7 days, you're like, nope, I don't have time, Luca. You were right. I am full to the brim. I'm not going to get my value out of it. I give you back the entire money. I'm going to pay the $3 fee that had to the credit card fee. I'll swallow that. I don't care. It's too hard to try to figure out, I'm going to give you a $5 charge. No, if you paid $100, I'll give you $100 back. Well, there's also GST, PS. So the cost is $100 a month. It renews automatically until you say stop. And when you say stop, I take you out. It's that simple. If you have any questions about the network, please get in touch in the comments below, and that's how I'll get back to you. In the meantime, I wish you a lovely week ahead and look forward to seeing you in the Good Food Network. If you wanted to chat about the network for 15 minutes, then also just hit me up with a private message and let's get that time set up so I can help you figure out if it's for you or not. And I'll be honest, I'm always super clear. It's your choice at the end of the day, but I'm here for you if and when you need me. Now go off into the week and have a good one. Salut, à bientôt.